In this video, we're going to look at how to actually generate a model without using scaffolding. So we're going to generate a basic model out of our database. The previous videos have set up our database. We've connected our Rails application with our MySQL database using that basic framework and using the generate scaffold script. This time we're just going to generate a model from the command line and then go into our console on the command line and create a particular object via command line to kind of play around with it that way to show you how to test it via the command line. So I'm already in my directory here, Movie Critic. So I'm going to go ahead and do a script generate, and then we're going to say model. And the one I want to generate is Critic. If you remember our database has a critics table, also movies table and comment table, and I'm going to generate a model for critics. So again, it's singular critic with a capital C because it is a Ruby object, so it is a class, and it needs to be capitalized. That's the convention. So I'm going to go ahead and generate this. It'll generate a couple of files here, my actual model file, and then some test stuff for us, and then some directories if they didn't create. So now I'm going to go ahead and enter into the console. And this actually starts up my web application so that I can play around with it from the command line. This was covered in earlier videos, the specifics of the console command. Here I'm going to create a new critic object, and name doesn't really matter because we're going to use this is the one that's critical because critic is the name of our model. So we're going to say new critic, and we'll say let's give them some particular aspects here, and we'll just enter my information. And you notice the convention is to put the field name in double quotes, and then it's followed with a equal sign and then a greater than, and then whatever information you want to put in there. And this is essentially a key value setup here. So this would be the key, and that's the value. And this is a standard Ruby type of convention. And finally, let me get my email in here. So we close it out. And there we have a new object. Now, let's go look at our database just to show you that. Oh, one more thing. We haven't saved it yet. And Rails actually takes care of some of this stuff for you, and some of it you got to do. Let's go look at our critics. So now we have this entry in here that corresponds to what I just created here. So we've created a model. We went ahead into our console. We messed around and created up that particular object of critic. That's instantiation of a particular version. I could go ahead and create another one, or I can change this one if I want. Put in my full name there. Perhaps I want to be that. And let's go and save it. Reopen this, and there you go. It's got my full name in it. So via the console, I can interact with this model and other aspects of my Ruby on Rails web application, and it's a great little feature to make sure that you have your database connectivity working the way you want it, and the console gives you access to all the different features of your Ruby on Rails web application. But the primary thing that we did here was generate the model scripts that we needed to go ahead and interact with our database.